Price of beef has continued to climb to record highs. According to a recent government data, ground beef has risen 12% from a year ago, and beef steaks rose 8%. In June, the average price of a pound of ground beef hit $6.12, and beef steaks cost $11.49 a pound. The reason? U.S. cattle herds have been steadily declining for decades.
It's a supply and demand issue right now because the herd sizes across America are the lowest they've been since 1951. So you have a really short supply. In the meantime, we get all our customers coming into Stu Leonard's. They want a grill, baby, grill. Okay? They want to fire those grills up, so there's a great demand for it right now. That's ticking up the beef prices.
The price of beef right now in America is absolutely soaring. And it's really a surprise. You think that America is known for its beef. We eat meat. We are meat eaters. Go anywhere in the world, and one of the things they say about Americans is that they eat a ton of meat. And we do. We may eat more meat than pretty much any country out there. But it looks like those days might actually be over. You look at beef prices right now, and you're looking at hamburger at what? $7, $8, $9 a pound. When I was a kid, hamburger was $1 a pound. It wasn't a luxury. It was just a staple in everyone's household. The availability of beef is just going down. Right now they're saying that beef herds in America are the lowest rates that they've been, I think, since the 1960s. And yeah, we do engineer a lot of cows that are bigger now than they have ever been before, but that's not what's actually driving the prices of beef up. The cost of grain that farmers actually use to feed cows has gone up significantly in America, really cutting into the profit margins for a lot of ranchers, making raising beef cattle just really kind of unsustainable for a lot of families that were traditionally in the beef industry. But we're getting it all over the country right now as it's making beef essentially unaffordable for many American households. And it's going to go beyond that pretty soon. I don't even think we've really even seen the prices of beef get to the level where I think they're going to. Not only is beef becoming a scarce meat being produced in the United States, but because of the tariffs we have in America, where we have up to 30% of our beef actually imported into the States from countries like Australia and Brazil, those countries are now getting hit with tariffs, and especially Brazil being one of the biggest producers of beef that we actually import beef from. Americans now have to deal with a 50% tariff, meaning that $7, $8, or $9 a pound pack of hamburger that you were thinking about getting at the grocery store now might end up being $12 a pound. Now, just to put things into perspective, $12 a pound is essentially, if you're on minimum wage, federal minimum wage, you have to work for 2 hours just to get 1 pound of beef. And like I said, minimum wage hasn't even changed that much in my lifetime. It's at what, $7.50. That means when I was younger, early 2000s, you can still get a pound of beef for $1, right? $1.50 a pound. That means if you worked a minimum wage job in the early 2000s, you can get 5-6 pounds of beef for working for 1 hour. But now you need to work 2 hours just to get 1 pound of beef. So for impoverished families all over America, this affects them. You can say, well, you don't need to buy beef, just buy pork. Well, yeah, but there's a lot of health issues that come with pork. And the problem with leaning on too much of one meat is that it causes an explosion in that industry, meaning that there's going to be a call for more pig farms to be built, for more pork to be on the shelves. And not only is it one of the most unhealthy cuts of meat that you can possibly have, but it's just dirty to raise. The amount of pollution that actually gets into the waterways because of pig farms all over the South, really destroys local ecosystems. And on the other side of that, actually boosting that industry is going to take a while to do. So you're going to have more people buying pork because it's cheaper, which means that there's going to be more demand, which means that the price for that's going to go up. But the scarcity of beef is going to increase because it's going to become less lucrative because the demand is going to go down, which means that farmers and ranchers have less incentive to actually raise beef as they have for generations. Like I said, this is an effect that just is very broad, but for the average American to actually go to the store and try to buy a steak, and that steak costs $30, $40, it just makes the whole thing unsustainable. And what are we supposed to do as Americans? Just not eat meat? There's an argument for that. And maybe this is the great vegan agenda finally playing out. You're going to make things so expensive that the only things that we can really afford in this country is going to be rice and beans. Because even when you're talking about produce, that's taken a huge hit because of the tariffs that we have on Mexico. You miss the cost increases that are going to be hitting the shelves when it comes to pretty much everything in the produce section. You mix that with the fact that we arrested a lot of the agricultural workers that used to pick our products here in the States, which means they're going to be rotting in the field. And we've seen videos on that before. So it's just not good. And Americans are getting to the point where they can't really even afford to feed their families, or let alone to feed themselves. What's the point of having a family if you can't afford to feed it? Because that's what it's going to be in the United States here shortly. It's already damn near unaffordable to have a family, but now you're going to make it so you can't feed the family. People just aren't going to have kids anymore. That is the way that it is. You can talk about the population crisis now, how no one's having kids, but I'll tell you what, if you make it to the point where right now you're looking at the average household spending about $1,300 a month to feed themselves, right? That's for a family, to feed themselves. And that's moderate spending. After the tariffs that we see, after the destruction of our agricultural system, when we start seeing that price go up to $2,000 to $2,500 a month, while at the same time wages aren't going up, and they cut food subsidies that desperate people in America use, people just can't afford to have families anymore. And that's just another reason why this country is just kind of over. If people can't afford to feed their families, they're not going to have families. The price of beef in America right now is really, it's a scary thing to think about, because especially if you think of it in the broader picture. But I never would have thought that Hamburger Helper would be a luxurious meal in the United States. Right? It is a nostalgic thing. I love Hamburger Helper, the beef stroganoff, the cheeseburger mac, right? Right back to my childhood. Trash. Ruined my health, ruined my metabolism at a young age. But to think that it's become a luxury is kind of laughable at this point. And I tell you right now, you think shrinkflation has been bad at fast food? Wait till they have to combat the price of burgers going up by shrinking the burger size again. We already know that the Big Mac from the 90s is far larger than what it is today, right? I mean, we've seen the memes, but I mean, we're just going to start seeing smaller. You're going to be going to fast food to buy sliders now. That's all we're going to be able to afford. Ugh, it's rough. It's dark. It's rough because as depressing as this is, the way for me to handle my depression should be for me to just hop on over to Swenson's, which is a local favorite here in Ohio. But guess what? I don't feel like spending $30 shoving 2 burgers down my throat in shame in the parking lot of a fast food restaurant, because that's just hit me twice. It's hit me in my wallet, and it's hit me in the pride. And my God, who would have thought? Who would have thought that this is where we'd be, where America is becoming a meatless country? If you're still here at this point, hey, like and subscribe. Think about becoming a member. Been a bit of a lull, because with the promotion came a lot more responsibilities, and I'm very, very busy at work, but I promise to set aside some time to get these videos out again. I miss you guys, and I miss just kind of ranting in the truck. It's a nice reprieve from all the BS that I deal with in life. So once again, love you guys. Thanks for the support, and hope you guys have a good one. Take care.